G'day guys, welcome back to another video with Anna here from Fantasy Take TV. Today I'll be doing my Game Week 11 review. It'll be a quick one. It's a bit of a shit show this week. I can't sugarcoat it really. Only 37 points, which for around the 1 million rank, I think it was 1.2 before the game week. The safety score was about 48, 50 points and well off that this week. Only 3 returns and, Pope got a return away at Old Trafford that I probably wasn't expecting. I benched Trippier for the 2 transfers I made were Saliba, sort of, gearing up for game week 12. The blank, I still had 6 Arsenal and City players just because of other issues and injuries that I had to at least get one of them out last week. So that was going to sort of happen no matter what. But Reece James, the injury there really killed me. And, knowing that I had to deal with him, that he won't be back, for a little bit. I got Kilman in as well. So Kilman got a return. That's the second return. And then the third and only other return was from old Mitrovic, who got himself up for the game. Looked like he was playing at like 60%, 70%. Watching the game, he was sort of just lumbering around and then won himself a penalty and put it away. So other than that, 2s, 1s and 3s across the board and really, really poor week from myself. So I think you can see it there in the the live FPL review thing. 19 points on the bench. Ward clean sheet. Trippier, as I said, Andreas got another assist, and then Nico Williams I think got a couple of points. But yeah, left quite a few points on the bench. Would have been nice if I could just would have played Andreas or of course played Trippier over Dunk. But I sort of got Dunk in and thought it'd be worth trying to play him, and I really thought United would score, and they probably should have in the end. Missed quite a few chances to score, but so did Newcastle. But pretty disappointing week. And then old James Maddison decided to dive for a penalty in the last couple of minutes, or literally last minute, and get himself his 5th yellow card for the season, and subsequently suspended for the next match against Leeds, which would have been great. So it wouldn't have been so bad if Maddo didn't do that, because I would still be able to get a good 11 players out this week with just a hit. But I'm going to have to take 2 hits if I want to get 11 out there, and I'm really undecided on what I'm going to do. The team doesn't look too bad on paper. The really big thing that's sort of killed me from not further climbing the ranks and probably would be in the top 1 million and maybe even further was the trade. I did tweet it out a couple of days ago. Decision I had to make, and I didn't have Haaland for a month. I wildcarded him out stupidly in game week 3, and that again was part of my downfall this season. But getting him back in, which was a sort of non-negotiable eventually, which I did for his hat-trick and 2 assists against United, was a question of who was going out that week. And I had Kane for a lot of the season up until that point, and he was doing really well for me. And KDB, and I decided to keep KDB and Jesus instead of keeping Kane and Foden, who Foden that same week went on to get his own hat-trick, goal and assist the week after, and then I think another goal, the week after that, and then no points this week like KDB, but he's 20-something points clear of KDB in that time, and also Kane has kept going on with his points as well, whereas Jesus has really slowed down. I know a lot of people have jumped off him just for other reasons, and that's really paid off too. Had a really poor game against Leeds last night. But, we did get the 3 points and top of the league. I will mention that, although we probably didn't deserve the 3, I would say probably a point in the end, but Leeds played really well in the second half. But we sort of snuck away and dug deep, which is something I haven't been able to say about Arsenal for quite a while. But moving on from that, Jesus really hasn't scored as much as I would have liked over the last few weeks with some good fixtures. So Saka looks like the man that I want to own at the moment. We know he's on penalties, so Jesus probably going from my team a little bit later than he should have. So that trade and that point about a month ago or 4 game weeks ago in my season, really, I'd be an extra 50 points better off, I think, after doing a bit of maths that you don't always really want to do, but you do it anyway, and that would probably have me really up there in a decent rank. But you can't dwell on these things. That's the thing with FPL. You get lucky, you make a good decision, or you still make a good decision and get unlucky. That's just the way it goes. But yeah, now sitting at about 1.6 mil after this week, and really dreading this week as well. Could really drop further. So look, there's only 4 or 5 game weeks till the World Cup. Really just see it as that. at sort of the end of the season, because you're going to be able to start fresh. Once the World Cup is over, and I'm looking forward to the World Cup. But I'll quickly look at how my team looks for game week 12 and beyond, what I'm thinking, and it isn't good. It isn't pretty. Trippier also will come back on, as well as Andreas for Martinelli, and Nico Williams. Looks like he's going to be starting at least for this game, hopefully, with I think Serge Aurier was out of the squad, who seemed to have maybe displaced him, but I think there'll be some rotation there. But he wasn't in the matchday squad for the game just gone, so hopefully he starts here. Still not expecting many points from him at all, really, anyway, against Brighton away, but at least it's a player. Now, it would have been all right just to do... I was thinking about just initially KDB down to Trossard, and then Jesus up to a Nunez or a Jota or something, and having a lot of money in the bank to then attack and get Saka and Foden immediately after their blank, and get back to some more City and Arsenal players. But Salah's gone, and he's sort of... he looked really good against City. Could have come away with more points from that game for sure. Had a couple of one-on-ones with the keeper. Got one of them, obviously, in the end, and was really good in that. That was obviously a great piece of play against Cancelo there. But now he's sort of looking like an option. I really do want a Liverpool attacker, and you're going to have one, I believe, over the next month or so. They've got some really good fixtures, and I'm possibly looking at two. But it's really hard to know what they're going to set up with. Mo Salah's going to play. He's on penalties. That's the one thing you do know. The other uncertainties come with... Jota went off injured really late. Ziyaz is out. Does that just mean Nunez and Firmino are locked to start every week? It's hard because they're all sort of central players. I know Nunez could possibly play off the left, but Salah played up front for majority of that game as well. And Klopp went with something a bit different. So it's a bit hard to know what they're going to go with for the time being. Enlighten me if you have any idea, but I personally think it's pretty hard to know. But De Bruyne could come in could go, and Salah could come in, which seems a pretty popular move for anyone with KDB up until this point. And that was part of my reasoning for staying with that instead of Kane, knowing that I probably will go with Salah for this really good period. And I ended up going this way, but Kane sort of still scoring more points. And not to mention Foden, the ridiculous amount of points he was scored in a short period that I didn't own him, which is grouse. But it would have been alright if I did this, and let's say, for instance, I end up grabbing Darwin. I can afford him quite easily. Would have fielded 11 with a 4-point hit, which I'm happy to do. I'm not totally scared of hits. I never really have been. I took a lot last year and still managed to get a pretty good rank. So the problem is Maddison is out. He's got himself suspended, and to get rid of him to Trossard, who seems flavour of the week, which I understand why. Really good fixture. I'll have a double. I'll be triple Brighton, have a double Brighton attack against Forest at home, which looks really nice. They're an attacking team. A little bit worried about Gross's minutes of late, but I still think he'll start and have a good 50, 60 minutes chance at getting some points. And Trossard, we know he's pretty much nailed on and plays an attacking role these days. But it's an 8-point hit. And I know you probably shouldn't look at taking an 8-point hit in 1 week. It should be individually you assess them. Is Trossard going to score more points than the hit, individually for Maddison this week? Am I going to keep Maddison in the future? Probably not anyway. But am I going to keep Trossard in the future? That's probably not true as well. And I already have Gross as well. They play City the next week after, Chelsea at home after that. Wolves is a good fixture, so is Villa. So it's not too bad then. But if you can bench them for the City fixture, maybe it's not too bad. And then the week after that, we get to game week 13, of course, and then obviously all these boys will come in. Dunk's got City away. He's got to be benched. Gross I'll probably bench as well. And then Martinelli for Nico Williams. So that looks pretty good. If I don't want to play Trossard, as I said, I could go instantly and just grab a Saka. I'll have 2 mil in the bank. And just do the one transfer this week. Still fielding Andreas and Mitrovic. It's not terrible. They got leads. I think that's a not fine fixture, but we did see how well they played, especially at home against Arsenal. If they do that to any team in the upcoming fixtures, I think they'll get some points on the board. But it looks really good, The Liverpool attackers have Forest. The Arsenal boys have got Southampton. The City boys have got Brighton at home. That's where I really want to look. And then we go past that, and I know you don't ever really want to look too far forward because of course things have stuffed me up recently. week by week. But again, really good fixtures for the big clubs. Even the Fulham guys, they got Everton at home, which is not too bad. The defenders, I don't really know who you want to own in defence at the moment. Like, you could grab a Liverpool defender as well. I think a Robertson is not too bad at 6.6 mil. I think I'm just short of getting him from, like a Kilman or something. I don't have enough money to do that, so you could look at that. I could even make a silly. It's not silly, but a keeper transfer. I mean, Villa's a good fixture for Newcastle, Southampton, Chelsea, but maybe you could get Allison if you wanted to, or something like that. You got to monitor. Maybe Gomez is still playing, but I don't know if you want to rely on that till the game week 16. But that's how I look initially. Obviously things will change, but pretty bad week for myself, and I'm not looking forward to this week as well. Whether I take the 8-point hit, I'm undecided on. Only a couple of days to the deadline, but let me know how you went. Not a good season so far for me, really, if you've been following along compared to last. But that's FPL. It's a pretty hard game at times with things, and decisions can go your way pretty easily, and sometimes they just can't, and they really haven't for me this year. Calls I've made have gone wrong, and that's the way it is. And there's still the thing is with FPL, you can make it up quickly too. You can have a really good couple of game weeks, fly up the ranks. But I think really, really obviously good rank is dead this season for me. But I can still hopefully get a respectable top couple of 100k or something like that. I'm aiming for. That's I'll be happy with that, pushing through. But it's it's a weird season. There's World Cup in the middle. Who knows what's happening or what's going to happen when teams and players come back from that. But thanks for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Got the mojo deals, we been tripping like the 80s. Pulling out the coupe at the lot.